Welcome to the podcast, Let the Prophets Speak. This is Isaiah 41b, the second half of chapter Mem Aleph 41 of Yeshayahu, and this is Saul Weinreb, your host for the podcast. In the first half of the chapter, we read how God is calling all of the nations of the world to justice. God tells them, don't worry, be strong, strengthen yourselves. Ish et re'eu yomar chazak, get ready, because true justice is going to be meted out. It's time for you to present your cases in front of me. The Jewish people then were, of course, frightened then. If God is now he's telling them all to be strong and be ready, and he's going to give justice to all, what happened to our special place? Do we still have a special relationship with God? What about all of those people who made us suffer all of these years? Are they going to get away with it? Is justice not going to happen? God then reassures them that lo masticha. God reassures the Jewish people that all of those nations that have caused them to suffer will suffer punishment for what they had done, and all of the nations of the world will have to answer for their deeds. However, those that deserve to be treated well will be treated well. This is the nature of God's justice. Now, God is about to define, after saying this, okay, you're all going to come in front of me and present your cases. What does my justice look like? What am I looking for? Before God talks about the philosophical issues and problems with the various isms, the various philosophies, the various ideas that have caused, unfortunately, suffering and pain throughout history, God first defines for us what his justice looks like. So we're going to start today with verse it's verse 17 of chapter 41. That's where we're going to start. As soon as God tells the nations to come, he tells the Jews not to worry. But they, of course, also have to answer for justice. Before the court case begins, God says, this is what I'm looking for. Ha'aniim v'ha'evyonim, the poor and the destitute. Mivakshim mayim, they are searching for water, va'ayin, but they cannot find it. In all of these societies, the poor are being abused. I have told you, Yeshayahu says, chapter after chapter, verse after verse, over and over again, the justice that God is looking for, a society that takes care of its poor and its destitute, a society that takes care of those that need it the most. And they're searching for water and it's not there. Lishonam batzamon noshota. Their tongues are parched, are dried with thirst. Ani Adonai, I, God, E'enim, will finally answer them, because you haven't. Elohei Yisrael, the God of Israel, Israel, I told you just a verse ago that I am going to be with you, Israel. What is that God that Israel has? What is that message that Israel is supposed to teach? Lo e'ezveim, is that we do not leave the poor alone to starve and die of thirst. And how is God going to do this? Through restoring nature to what nature is. Eftach al shefayim neharot. I will open up streams on the hills that are bare and dry. I will bring streams. Uvetoch bikaot mayanot. And from in the valleys, springs of fresh water will sprout forth. Asim midbar la'agamayim. I will take a wilderness, a desert, and turn it into lakes and ponds. Ve'eretz tzion, a thirsty land, lemotza imayim, will be a place where one finds water. Etain bamidbar eretz shita, the desolate wilderness will start growing cedars, beautiful, fresh, nice trees. Vahadas ve'etz shaman, trees that give oil, that are rich with fluids and sap. Vahadas and myrtle. Asim ba'arav, I will place that in the wilderness. Berosh tidharu ta'ashur yachtav. Together with, these are different types of trees. Berosh ta'ashur, these are all different types of trees. Cypress, they're translated as elms, various kinds of trees. So this is what God says. Because you, human beings in history, have failed and have failed to feed the poor, have failed to take care of nature the way you should, I will have to restore it to the way it is. How? Man, I will do this. Why? In order, Yeru, that you should see v'yedu, and that you should know v'yasimu, and that you should pay attention v'yaskilu, and that you should understand yachtav, all of you together. All of you nations that I'm talking to together should see this, should know this, should understand this. Ki yad Adonai astazos, that this redemption is coming from God Himself, and that Ukedosh Yisrael, and the Holy One of Israel, Bira'ah, is the one who created all of this. So what is the justice of God that I'm looking for? Restoration of is a society that takes care of its most needy, of its poor, a society that respects the nature and the world around it. Now that I've told you what it is that I am going to restore, now you have to answer for yourselves. The next verse starts, Karvu rivchem yomar Adonai. Come, tell me your case. Explain to me why what you've been doing this whole time was okay. Hagishu atzmosechem. Bring yourselves here. Yomar Melech Yaakov, the king of Yaakov, says. Remember how important this is to tell the Jewish people what their message is that they are supposed to be bringing and teaching the world. It is that message. It is bringing food and water to those that need it the most. It is taking care of nature. Simple as that. Or this is the Kadosh Yisrael. This is what Melech Yaakov is looking for, and now he's asking the world, Yagishu, come close. I told you in the beginning of the chapter to come close. V'yagidu lanu, it's now time for you to tell us. God says, as if he's sitting in the front head of a court. Eis asher tikrena. Tell me the things that are going to happen. If you continue living the way you are living, if you continue professing the ideas and philosophies or theories of government, all of these, whatever it is that you're professing, whether you're professing economics or law or systems of, regardless of what it is, I'm not going to pick a specific one, but you can imagine whatever your ideology is. Tell me that ideology, and tell me if you can say, take this ideology, what will happen if you continue to live this way? Harishonot Mahena. Tell me its history. What did that ideology, what did that feeling? In other words, this is specifically in Yeshayahu's day, he's talking to those that professed ideologies of idolatry. But this is something that goes to the future for all time. It's not just the idea of an idol. It's the idea of whatever it is that you believe in. Harishonot Mahina. What was affected? How did these work before? What did they do before? Hagidu, tell me. Did they feed the poor? Did they accomplish what I wanted to accomplish? Or did they destroy people? Did they oppress people? Did they cause nature? Did they abuse the environment that you lived in? V'nasima libenu, and we will think about it, God says. We, meaning we, me and my court. V'nei da'achri son, and then we will know. If we analyze what they've done, we will know what they're going to do. O haba otashmi'unu. So this way we can find out what it is that it's coming up. If you're going to live this way, if you feel you're right, if you're living the right way, what's going to be? Hagidu ha'otiot li'achar. Tell me what those signs are to know the past. V'neidah, and we will know ki Elohim atem. Then we will know that you have Elohim. Elohim here could refer to gods, because it sometimes refers excuse me sometimes refers to gods. But Elohim over here also, God is sitting in a court. Elohim throughout the Bible often means court, because you are also a court, God says. We're sitting in a court. Haftetivu v'toreu. You also can do good and you can do bad. V'nishta'a, and we will see v'nir'eh yachdav, together, and we will be nishta'a, and we will be awed. Then, if you have so much wonderful things to say about the way you live and all of this stuff that you believe in, tell me, and we will be wowed by it, and we will say, oh, this is great. However, hein atem me'ayin, behold, we know that you are from nothingness. These things that you're coming here with, your claims are nothing. Ufa'alchem, and the things that you've done based on these ideologies of yours, me ofa, they are zero. They are nothing. To'eva yivchar bochem. We know that your choices were choices of abomination. They have led to oppression. They have led to abuse of the environment around you. Ha'irosi mitzafon vayat. God said before, we said in the beginning of this chapter, when we go back to that verse, Mi he'ir ayin yud reish, mi mizrach, who has aroused this spirit of righteousness coming from the east? God says, I have also aroused a spirit coming from the north. Vayas, and he has come. Mi mizrach shemesh, coming from the east, where the sun rises, yikra vishmi, they will start calling for my name. It's coming to you from other directions. I am going to spread this throughout the world, where people are yikra vishmi, v'yavo sigonim kimo chomer, and this one who is coming from the north and from the east, he is the sigonim, the leaders, are going to fold before him, are going to get smushed before him like chomer, like mud or clay. Ukumo yotzer yirmos, like a creator mushes or spreads upon or kneads clay in order to make a vessel. Mi higid merosh v'nei da'a. And then God says, your ideologies have led to nothingness. I am going to bring a spirit of righteousness. So who is the only one? Who is the only one that has brought about the kind of justice that I am looking for? Mi higid merosh v'nei da'a. Who is the one who has said this from the beginning? I've been saying this from the beginning, God says. From the beginning, when I appeared to Abraham and I told him these messages, when I appeared to the people of Israel at Sinai, when I came to deliver these messages, it was me. I was saying this from the beginning. And from all the way in the start, Vinomar, and we said Tzaddik, we have said that I am righteous. God, when God comes, God is the God of righteousness. Af'ein magid, af'ein mashmiya, af'ein shomea emrechem. But of yours, there hasn't been one person that has spoken up. There hasn't been one person who has even heard what you said. And there still is, Ein Shomea, there still is no one that has heard your words and proclaimed that they were righteous. However, Rishon L'Tzion Hinei Hinam. The things that were predicted for Tzion, the things that were predicted regarding Jerusalem, B'Yerushalayim V'Aser Etain, these things, Hinei Hinam, they are. I predicted things about Jerusalem, and they have come true. I predicted things about Zion, and they have come true, says God. The message that is supposed to come, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, from Tzion comes righteousness, from Tzion comes teachings, righteousness. These are the things that Isaiah said earlier. These are the things that have come true. Ve'erev ve'enish. But when I look around, there's no man, there's no human being. The people are not saying these things. Ume'ela ve'en yoetz. And I look around from all these people, no one can say advice, no one could say an idea, an ideology that can explain everything, that can mean everything, that can bring righteousness. Ve'eshalem v'yashivu davar. No one could even answer when I ask them questions, God says. I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you about your ideologies. I'm asking you to tell me how you are going to bring out justice, and you have no answer for me. Hein kulam even epes ma'asehem. They are all nothingness, all oven, they are all sin. Ephes ma'asehem. Their actions are worthless. Ruach v'tohu niskehem. Their statues, the things that they build are just wind, like nothing but tohu, and like complete nothingness. So this is the judgment that happens on Judgment Day, when the people come to God and try to explain, I had this ideology, we built this country, we did this. But what did you result? What did you do? Did you have tzedek u'mishpat? If the answer is no, God says the only ideology that's left, the only one that's left is the one that was there from the beginning, the Rishon L'Tzion, and that's me. And that's the message that I gave Zion, that's the message I gave Jerusalem, And that's the message of the Kadosh Yisrael, the message that the Jewish people are supposed to be delivering to the entire world. Thank you for paying attention and for studying Isaiah 41. Looking forward to studying Isaiah 42 together.